Imagine archaeologists discovered a species unlike anything in human history. A species with 3 fingers on each hand, elongated skulls, strange anatomy, and DNA that some researchers claim doesn't match anything known on Earth. If true, it could be one of the most important discoveries ever made. But what if it's all a hoax? What if these bodies are nothing more than cleverly assembled remains designed to fool the world? For nearly a decade, the mystery of the Nazca mummies has divided scientists, investigators, and millions of curious observers. Tonight, we're examining the evidence for the discovery. The story begins in Peru, in the deserts near Nazca, a region already famous for its mysterious geoglyphs known as the Nazca lines. Unusual mummified bodies began appearing in public. Some were small, some appeared humanoid. Several possessed only 3 fingers and 3 toes. Supporters claimed the bodies were ancient and authentic. Carbon dating reportedly suggested some specimens could be hundreds or even thousands of years old. The discoveries attracted worldwide attention and eventually became the subject of presentations in Mexico's Congress and Peru's Congress. Why some researchers believe they're real? Supporters point to several pieces of evidence. CT scans and X-rays have been performed on some specimens. According to researchers involved with the project, the scans show internal structures that would be difficult to fabricate. Others point to fingerprints that reportedly differ from normal human patterns. Some investigators have argued that the bodies show no obvious signs of modern assembly. Then there is the DNA. Perhaps the most discussed claim surrounding the Nazca mummies is that portions of the genetic material could not be easily identified. Supporters argue that this suggests the bodies may represent an unknown species. Some even speculate about genetic abnormalities, extinct branches of humanity, or something entirely unprecedented. If these interpretations are correct, the implications would be enormous. The skeptics push back. But critics say there's a major problem. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And according to many scientists, that evidence simply isn't there. In 2024, forensic experts in Peru publicly stated that specimens they examined were constructed from human and animal bones combined with modern materials. Their conclusion was blunt. These were not aliens, not a new species, not unknown beings, just manufactured objects. Other researchers argue that the unknown DNA claims are misleading. Ancient DNA is notoriously difficult to analyze. Samples can be contaminated. Genetic material degrades over time, and sequences that fail to match existing databases do not automatically indicate a new life form. In other words, unknown DNA does not necessarily mean unknown species. It may simply mean poor quality genetic data, the Jaime Maussan factor. The controversy becomes even more complicated because of the people involved. One of the most visible promoters of the Nazca mummies has been Mexican journalist Jaime Maussan. Critics note that Maussan has promoted several controversial specimens and extraterrestrial claims in the past that were later debunked. Because of this history, many scientists approached the Nazca mummy claims with immediate skepticism. Supporters argue that the evidence should be judged on its own merits. Skeptics counter that credibility matters when evaluating extraordinary discoveries. The biggest unanswered questions? Despite years of debate, several questions remain. Who originally discovered the bodies? Where exactly were they found? Can independent laboratories examine the specimens freely? Can the DNA results be replicated by multiple research groups? And perhaps most importantly, why has there still been no universally accepted scientific conclusion? If the bodies are genuine, they could rewrite history. If they're fabricated, they represent one of the most elaborate archaeological controversies of modern times. Conclusion: nearly 10 years after the story first emerged, the Nazca mummies remain trapped between two worlds. To believers, they may represent evidence of a previously unknown branch of life. To skeptics, they are a cautionary tale about extraordinary claims and poor science. The truth may ultimately come down to one thing: independent testing. Until then, the Nazca mummies remain exactly what they've always been: one of the world's most fascinating unanswered questions.